Hey guys, I'm Jesse from Jesse's Garage and Adventures. Today I'm going to be going over these new Flextail mini shower kits. I ordered these off of Kickstarter a few months ago and I've been super excited to try them out, and today it's finally going to happen. I'll go over what's included in the box, how to set them up, and how to use them. So let's get started. Alright guys, so as you can tell, one's more of a bucket style, one's more of a bag style. I think they both have different use cases. The bucket style, I think a lot of the use case will be exactly how it is right now, sitting on top of a table. Whereas I think the bag style, its primary use will be to hang up somewhere like on my rack, and then you can use it more like a shower. Included in both of my kits, I opted for the remote controls, which did cost a little bit extra. I think they were $10 a piece. So they just came in these boxes, which in my opinion could be improved a little bit, because as you can see, they took a beating getting to my house, but they did get here in one piece. You also get a instruction manual, little packet, and then a USB cord to charge them. They did not come fully charged, which most devices don't, so I'm not really counting that as a bad thing. So just make sure to charge them before your initial use, and then we'll get to actually using them. Since I ordered off the Kickstarter, once the Kickstarter got enough people included, I got the faucet kits. Something I want to point out about these is that they're 3D printed. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but I kind of expected Flextail to have an injection molded piece. I could 3D print this at home. Well, maybe not this, but you know what I mean. If you got a 3D printer, you can make this. But it was a freebie in the Kickstarter, so I'm not going to complain about it. You also get this little temperature gauge, and they're pretty explicit. They don't want the temperature this over 60°C, which if you look at that, you're talking 100 and probably 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't believe many people are going to be taking showers that hot. You never know though. Alright, so as far as features go, they are practically identical. The main difference is one's a bucket, one's a bag. Personally, I see the bucket being really useful for sitting on the edge of a table and stuff like that. And then the bag would be better for hanging. I think the little faucet would work like specifically well with the bucket hanging off the side, but it would probably work just fine hanging off my roof rack on the truck. So I just want to say one thing, and that is that 20 liters is a huge amount of water for a shower. I'm not sure, I haven't run them yet, but I'm sure that this is going to last for way longer than probably 3 people need to take showers for. And I will tell you that they're heavy as well. When you're picking these up, you need to make sure that you're picking them up by the handles rather than by this plastic. I just don't trust the plastic personally. Why stress a piece like that when you could break it off and then this thing would become next to useless. So as you can see, it doesn't help that my truck is tall, but these things are heavy. They might not be easy for a smaller person to set up. Alright, so I got this hung up on the truck. For my situation, I just ran it through this little hole here. It comes back around and then it clips into the loop that's built in. And then let's go over how some of this works. So it's got an off and on valve. And as you can see, when you click that on and there's water in there, water comes out immediately. So if you're going to click that on, definitely make sure to have the hose attached. All right, we're going to start off by just clicking that. It's really easy. I'm going to untangle the hose. All right. So to turn it on, you're supposed to press and hold the power button for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Green light comes on. So once the light's on, you can press it. And it's got a low setting. I don't know if you guys can hear it running. You press it again, it's got a high setting. And then again, turns it off. So as far as the little controllers work, when it's in that standby mode, so you basically just press and hold the power button on for 3 seconds. You can press this, and you just saw the light color change. It kicked the pump on low. Press it again, it's high. Press again, it's off. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how you would actually use this thing. So the first thing you need to do is turn the little diverter valve to where it's on. And this thing will run water. If this is on, will run water out of this. So that's something to be careful of. Now this knob actually has an off and an on. So if the knob is off, no water will come out. But if you crank the knob over, the water will run with the power not being on. But let's go ahead and kick it on and I'll show you guys the modes. So this is the low mode. And I mean, it's shooting water, I'd say like a good 9 feet. It's definitely got plenty of water to clean things off. I mean, you guys can't see what I'm doing right now. I'll show you guys here in a minute, but I'm cleaning off my wheels. And I can click it again, and it's got quite a bit more pressure. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and show you just about how far it'll shoot the water. So we're gonna kick it on to low. Oh, I need to turn the water back on. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is almost, it's just shy of hitting my front tire. We're gonna go ahead and kick it back on high, and it is now hitting my front tire. So I would say this has got more than enough water pressure. I could see maybe if you were a girl washing your long hair, you might want a little bit more water pressure, but I think given the fact that you'll be out camping or doing some sort of outdoor activity, you kind of, you get what you get. I'll show it hosing off my wheels. It's got plenty of power to do dishes, stuff like that, so just something to keep in mind. What you can do to turn the water off is just spin this the other direction. That'll turn your water off here without actually having to turn the water off in the pump right here. But keep in mind that if you do that while the pump is running, you will run a risk of ruining the pump over time. That's not something you want. You don't want to let the pump sit there and run and run and run without actually pumping water. Now, given the fact that the pump is inside of water being submerged, you are probably safe. You probably won't kill the pump because it's probably got some sort of pressure valve and it's just diverting water inside. But I still would avoid it. If the pump is on, you should be pumping water. All right, while we're talking about this is cleanable. So what you can do is you just continue to rotate this counterclockwise. And when your hands aren't wet, you can spin this thing off pretty easily. But you can get this cap off. So if you were to get debris or something inside of here, or if you have hard water and it like forms calcium, you can clean this. I'm going to go ahead and install the faucet on the bag. We're going to do everything we're doing on the bag. We're going to end up doing it on the bucket as well, but I just want to show you guys. What I'm going to do for the faucet though is I'm going to hold it down because I don't want to shower my whole setup over here. So let's just turn the diverter on without the pump. Okay, and you get a pretty decent stream. That would honestly probably be enough to fill up a water bottle or cup or whatever else you got. And we'll go ahead and kick the pump on. And then you've got a pretty solid stream. We're going to go ahead and turn it on high. And a really solid stream. So that would, I mean, that's a lot of water pressure given what it is. So I'm going to get my stopwatch out and do a test with what's left of this to see how long it takes to actually become empty. We've used not a whole lot. It's still pretty close to full. I mean, you can see I've used some, but we'll go ahead and see how long it takes to go ahead and drain the whole thing. So we're going to start here. Timer is started. I'm going to turn this to the side so it doesn't shower my table. We're going to turn it on. Alright guys, we're approaching 4 minutes. Obviously it ran for a few seconds. It's still going. We're going to call it right there. Alright, so it ran for about 4 minutes and 13 seconds on the stopwatch. I think it ran for like 3 or 4 seconds before I actually started it. So I would say you have at least 4 minutes worth of shower on low. I'm going to go ahead and refill it, and then we're going to do the same thing on high. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start it again. We're going to run it on high this time. That's low. There's high. I set it up on the bumper, that way it's just easier to set up and take down. I don't have to lift it up onto the roof rack. But this is from a full bucket, so keep that with a grain of salt. The last test was slightly not full, so we should get well over 4 minutes. Well, not on high, we'll see. All right, so we're at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. We're getting close to the end. All right, so we got 4 minutes and 33 seconds. I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts here about that right now. All right, so as we saw, on high, the pump got like 4 minutes and 30 seconds or so. Let me double check what that was. Yeah, 4 minutes, 33 seconds. That's way longer than I expected to get out of it. But I guess, first of all, the first time I did it on low, it wasn't completely full, which I may have wasted more water than I thought. But my second thought is I have it more hanging upright. And on the truck, you can't really see it, but it was hanging up here and then slanted down. And I think the fact that it's upright and sealed allowed the bag to kind of vacuum shut, and I got every bit of water that was out of that thing. Whereas the first time I did it on low, it did not suck all of the available water out of it. I mean, it did, but it started to aerate, and I didn't want to continue running the pump while I was aerating. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to the bucket one. We're going to do the same test, except we're going to do that with the shower head. My thoughts are that the faucet probably flows more water than the shower head does. So I think when we put the shower head on it, we will get longer run time out of it. So let's go ahead and try it out and see. So on paper, these are the same exact products, just different shapes. They hold the same amount of water, and the pumps are the same, and everything's the same. So I don't think going from the bag style to the bucket style will matter so much in like runtime, maybe, except for the fact that the bucket style is a little easier to fill completely without laying the bag face first, and which I didn't want to do because I just didn't want to get it full of like grass and everything else, you know, wet grass. So I think this is a pretty fair test, and if anything, the test leans in favor of the bucket style, but I would not like take any of that into like heart on, oh, the bucket style is better than the bag style. I think it really just depends on what you want to use it for, and get both of them if you want, like I did. All right, we're starting a timer. Just click the pump on. We still got about 3/4 of the bucket left. We're still about halfway through. Let's see how we're doing on time. So we're at 3 minutes. Should I wash off this thing? My donor vehicle? Let's see, we are currently at halfway. So on with the shower fitting, this is like probably 10 minutes worth of water. I got a very small leak there. Not sure what that's about. I might need to contact them. Look at that. Oh man, I thought that was a nail. We are currently at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, so I shut it off at right about 9 minutes. So on low, that ran 9 minutes. We're gonna go refill this and do it on high. And it probably leaked a little tiny amount of water out of that, not a lot. So I didn't want to hold it this time, so I just kind of set it up in my door handle. We're going to go ahead and start the timer, and then I'm going to click this onto high. So start, 1, 2, turn that on. Now high is running. We'll see how long it takes to drain this time. This thing is definitely leaking. I'll have to contact Flextail and see what they say about that. Well guys, I'm an idiot and I fat fingered my phone and reset the timer, so we're gonna do this again. So we're going to turn it on. Start. That's high. Start the timer. You can see the water is now hitting the house. Alright, we're approaching 7 minutes. We're almost there. It's almost out of water as well. What I really do like about the design of these things is that since it's a sealed bag, it kind of creates a vacuum and it'll suck all the water in towards the pump once it starts getting low. We just hit 7 minutes. And right there, we'll shut it off. So, just over 7 minutes on high. I think that's about the same as what it did on low, which is pretty impressive, honestly. Let's go over a little closing thoughts on these. I think these would be awesome for summertime camping. If you can leave these out in the sun to where they'll warm up for you, I think this would be fantastic. They work great for a little faucet. They work great for a shower. As you can see, I was able to wash off the wheels of my truck pretty well. I mean, yeah, they're not a pressure washer, but they do pretty good. I'm going to contact Flextail and see what they have to say about this thing leaking. It's not a big leak, but I still don't feel like it should leak, especially given some people's use case may be the fact that they would fill this full of water and then go out, and this could be their fresh water for the trip, so you wouldn't want it leaking in the back of your truck. I don't think that's correct. We'll see what they have to say about that. This one didn't leak. I don't know why one leaked and one didn't. One other thing that I want to mention about these is that these things are not bound to this or this. It'll work for either one. So I was actually able to turn this one on and off with this one, as well as this one on and off with this one. And when I switched between the two, I accidentally turned this one on and it sat there and ran dry for like 5 minutes. So that whole conversation about me wanting to not, run the pumps dry, I did it anyway. But it seems to still work fine, so stuff happens. We'll continue using them. I'll probably check back later this year or maybe next year. Our days of summer are wrapping up here. I don't know if I'll be able to take these out on a trip. Alright guys, if you like this content, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, leave your thoughts below. Would you guys run these things? I think they're pretty cool. Hey guys, Editing Jesse here. I just wanted to report back that I did reach out to Flextail's customer service and reported that that was leaking from the shutoff valve. And they got back to me and they sent me a new one. It was pretty painless. It's fine. So I wouldn't really be very hesitant of buying it. I think I just had one that was mismanufactured or possibly even damaged during shipping. As you guys saw, the boxes of mine were pretty beat up. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Once again, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts below.